So we're back for another Join the Brave podcast, and we're keeping with the coaching theme. So we've got the under-23s coach Simon Mensing and under-20s coach Chris Divers with us. How you doing, guys?
Very well, thank you.
Not bad. Cheers, Roy. How are you?
Not too bad. Getting on. How you coping with everything going on at the moment? Si, how's things?
Busy. Busy. So obviously, with 3 kids, you can't help it. But no, to be fair, making the most of it. So. The missus got me working, as you expect.
Got you around the house, that's good.
That's it.
Yeah, I'm just finishing off my dissertation for uni that's due to be in a couple of weeks. Also keeping contact with the boys at the U20s to make sure they're keeping up with their analysis tasks as well. So, yeah.
How you doing with it, the coffee?
Well, I've got a coffee machine, and I found some of the Tassimo Costa ones, so I've been finding the bad boys at
keeping you busy.
The Liveroo, I think he's been using for his Costa.
It needs to get his fix, man. So we'll just jump into it, and we'll start talking about you guys. We'll quickly go around your background. So start with you, Simon. So obviously, if you were obviously a Premier League player in Scotland for a while with Motherwell, Hamilton, St Johnstone. You were at Clyde for a while as well. Just kind of talk about your career a wee bit and how it kind of progressed.
How long we got? Obviously, I'd come up from down south originally when I was 18. Originally on loan to Stenhousemuir to get a few first team games, which I enjoyed, and had the opportunity to sign for Clyde the following season. So obviously I took that up. Initially it was just to come up here again, just to play some football, to get some first team games and head back down. But that never materialised. I must admit, I fell in love with Glasgow and found the missus as you do, and the rest is history. So, no, obviously, like you said, I spent a few years at Clyde. Again, thoroughly enjoyed. A while at St Johnstone. And then obviously Hamilton Accies, where obviously winning the league, which was good, and a few years in the SPL with them. So. And then a few other clubs after that. To recap it, like I said, I wouldn't change it. I thoroughly enjoyed my time, and I enjoy coaching it now.
It was your best moments coming from Accies? Is that because you had most of your career there? Is that where you enjoyed most of your football?
For obvious reasons. Obviously, winning promotion was good. It eluded me. Obviously with St Johnstone on the last day of the season, and Clyde as well, prior to that, the season before that. So to finally get that, it was good, obviously, and then getting promoted to the SPL and playing in there, that for obvious reasons. But I must admit, I enjoyed Clyde before that. Again, it was a really good changing room. We had a really good, solid side. We knew how to win games, and we were unfortunate not to win the league on the last day of the season in 1 year. And again, when I left there, we went to St Johnstone. We had a more experienced side, and we had. I was there for a couple of years, but one year in particular, we had a very good, 2 cup runs, beating a few SPL sides on the way to 2 semi-finals that year, and unfortunately, we come up short at Hampden against Celtic. I think we lost 2-1, and the Hibs went to extra time and we lost against them. So, and then to top that year off, we lost to a late James Grady 99th minute goal, whoever it was, on the last day of the season. So, but like I said, I thoroughly enjoyed my years, certainly at Clyde and St John's prior to Hamilton.
Yeah. After then, you moved over to America. What was that like?
Yes, to be fair, it was an opportunity that sort of come out of the blue. To be honest, I did something I wanted to do for a number of years. Never really got the opportunity. So when I was at Livingston, I think I signed a 2-year contract. So it was after my first year. I think it was about a year. I was actually just coming back from injury as well. So I played a couple of months coming back, and then got the opportunity to go. And Livingston were good, and and we allowed me to go earlier in my contract. So once I was over there, like I said, it was an experience I've always wanted to do, and it was quite surreal at times. Playing football in the heat for one, which was really nice, but just the way of life, the quality of life. every away game was, I think, was a flight or a couple of flights, depending where you played. I think there was only 1 or 2 road trips on the bus. Would take maybe down to Tampa now and again, 6 or 7 hours. But I think the majority of them were away games, and obviously once you're going over there, it's just to see all the new states and the cities, and it felt like being on holiday while playing football and getting paid for it. So it was an experience that I thoroughly enjoyed. My family enjoyed it when we were over there, and I would recommend to anyone.
Yeah, so it wasn't the MLS, but see, being over there and being in amongst the American kind of soccer franchise, can you see the development of it and how well it's done? Because it is like one of the newest leagues in the world. So can you see how well it's done, and can you see it progressing further, especially with the big names coming into it?
Yeah, I think, it was when I was over there, it was at NASL, which wasn't affiliated with the MLS, even though we played in the US Open Cup.
Right, okay.
But it's obviously the North American Soccer League, which isn't anymore at the moment. So a few of the teams, when it disbanded, a few of the teams went over to the USL, and to be fair, I think they've got a structure, is in the environment that the clubs are looked after. There's caps on wages, and for the majority of players. Obviously, you're allowed a few marquee players in MLS as well. But to get into the MLS, you have to be a franchise, and that has to be accepted and voted in. So, although it hasn't maybe got the promotion and relegation we have here, or as it has in the majority of countries, if not all, there's still it's still a massive sport. And like you said, like you mentioned, it's getting bigger and bigger. And from going over there, you could see, the amount of kids that play football and the amount of girls playing football over there, which was really, really good to see as well. So it's only good for the youth growing up and being fit and getting involved in it as well.
Yeah, definitely. Sounds like you a good career and a career you enjoyed. So we'll move on to Chris. How did you kind of get into football, Chris? What was your main kind of pathway, and just kind of going into, you obviously worked abroad with a couple of teams, just how that all kind of panned out?
I started off coaching abroad before I even started coaching here in Scotland. One of my friends went over to the west coast of the States to do the soccer camps in the summer while I was at college. And then he said to me, he's like, do you fancy doing it in the summer? And I was like, yeah, why not? So I went over again. I actually initially thought I'll go over a holiday, do some coaching, go and see some of the USA. Loved it. Really enjoyed my time there. I was in Los Angeles all the way up to Seattle on the west coast. Come back home, and that's when it really hit me that was something that I wanted to do as a career. So I went back to the States after that for 9 months, come back home, and that's when I started going through my university degree and gaining more experience in the grassroots sort of side in Scotland while doing my coaching badges.
Okay, so when you came back to Scotland, was it Motherwell you were at first, and then you moved on to clubs like Kilmarnock and Hearts as well?
Yeah, Motherwell was the first academy I went to. Fortunately enough, my brother was actually coaching with Ricky at the under-17s at Motherwell. And he spoke to a guy, Paul Burns, who's the head of the children's programme at Motherwell. Okay. And he allowed me to go up and watch some of the sessions for a while. And then I think it was after 3 months, a guy called Tony Begg, who's now the Pennycook manager, decided that he was leaving the under-12 spot. So Motherwell were looking for someone, and fortunately enough, Paul and Gordon Young offered me the gig there, and that's how it really started off my academy coaching career. Okay.
Did anyone come through that from what you know so far that's kind of pushed on into the Motherwell team, or is it kind of difficult at that age group for them to kind of go a lot further? Like, you don't really see it as much?
The boys, the year group above the under-13s, where I first went in, was the likes of David Turnbull, JK. They were the under-13s. Even at a young age, you could see these guys were fantastic, very technically gifted players, but they gave everything to football. Like, they gave up everything to be at football. You could see it right through their careers. And they were even that hard working, and they had that desire at a young age. Two really good lads.
Yeah. So after that, you've ended up in Asia. How did you end up there? What was the What was the kind of calling for that? Did you just look for a new challenge, or was it just because of the club you were joining?
It was a bit of both. Again, it was an opportunity that I thought, do you know what, it's some part of the world that I'd never even considered going to visit, never mind working. Mm-hmm. At that time, China wasn't, the Chinese Super League was just about to take off.
Okay.
But it was in 2015 that I hadn't really heard much about it. So when we went over through Manchester City, at that time they were looking to expand the City football group over in China and buy a club. As you know, they've got like Melbourne City, New York City, and obviously Manchester City. So that was the initial thought process of them at the time, to get coaches on the ground over there, get the brand more recognisable over there as well. Because we were supposed to play Manchester United at the Bird's Nest Stadium in Beijing in the summer. And that was supposed to be the first derby between the two of them out with the UK.
Okay.
But unfortunately, there was a hurricane that came and basically lifted up the pitch and threw it about, so that got postponed. But no, it was a great experience. If anything, it taught me a lot about myself and what was needed in football, especially communication, and pinpoint just how important that is.
Was it difficult over there? Because you've heard like players like, for instance, Derek Riordan went over and he always had a translator with and things like that. Did you have problems with that as well, or did you manage to cope?
You had to cope, basically. I mean, you were coaching every single day. You didn't really have a choice. I used to have like an A4 sheet of paper with buzzwords for coaching, because sometimes my interpreter didn't turn up. Or even, again, football terminology is different to anything else. So, again, even my interpreter didn't understand my Scottish accent sometimes. So that was a bit difficult. But again, we got through it. Again, it was a valuable experience, and I really enjoyed it.
There was also Chelsea you worked with over in Asia. Was that Thailand as well? So what was that like?
Totally different programmes. Chelsea were a thing where when they go and play pre-season in places, they have a thing called Here to Play, Here to Stay.
Okay.
And what they do is they'll take coaches over with them, like they did in Singapore. So they were over in Singapore, they played a few games over there, and then they tried to create programmes with international schools that are based in Singapore. And now they've been there for the last 4 years.
Cool. So did you kind of, you've obviously, when you left Scotland, did you see a difference? Obviously you're coaching at youth level, but did you see a different style, or did you maybe implement some things from the Scottish game?
A bit of both. I mean, when you go to these countries and you represent teams like Man City and Chelsea, they've got their own methodology and philosophy for what they believe is the best way to coach young people. So you need to adhere to that. You might have your own ideas, but really you need to stick to how they want you to use that approach and how they want you to coach while you're over there.
Okay. So also you mentioned that you're doing your degree at the moment. Do you think, if you look at maybe someone like Ian Cathro as like an example, do you think there's becoming more of an acceptance of coaches who are learning through the academic system more than, for instance, players coming through and then going into coaching and getting their badges that way? Do you think this kind of is becoming more accepted, the kind of academic route?
I think it is being more accepted. Again, I don't think it's a one rule for all. People learn in different ways, and it's always good to have that academic background behind you as well. Personally, I did it for, again, it's visa restrictions. I didn't have like the playing background like Simon. So if I wanted to go and coach abroad, again, over in Asia, what I found was they're a very academic continent.
Right.
They would rather you have your degree before you have any other sort of SFA coaching badge. And even America now, if we wanted to go to America, the first thing they look at is, do you have a degree? Or you would have to have relevant playing background. So again, to have a good mix, a good bit of both, I think is really good.
Right. We'll move on to the kind of academy stuff now. So obviously the Edusport Academy and Caledonian Braves are joined, as it used to be known as only Edusport Academy, but now we've got the separate identity, it's the Caledonian Braves, but the Edusport Academy still exists as its own entity, and you both work as head coaches for them. So just how did it come about for you? We'll go with you first, Simon. Just how did you find out about Edusport at the time, and what attracted you to the job?
Well, to be honest, I think, well, I remember playing against Edusport Academy in, it was a number of years ago, in a friendly. I'm sure it was down at the Science Parks as well. So I remember playing against, against the French lads, obviously a number of years ago, in a friendly or two with, so I was aware of the existence of it and not exactly knowing the full entity of it. But obviously I've been there for just over a year now. Had the opportunity. I was an academy coach at Partick Thistle, and Ryan McCann had obviously, who was previously coaching at Edu as well, was still doing a dual role with Partick Thistle as well. Got the opportunity to go full time with Partick Thistle, and he had mentioned about a position coming up if I'd be interested to. I'd spoke to Ricky prior to that as well. There was a possibility of me going in at some point prior to that. Didn't quite materialise, but this time round I was happy to get started. And like I said, I've been in just over a year now, so I'm thoroughly enjoying it.
What about you, Chris? How did you come in? Because you're one of the newer members of staff as well. You came in once Colin Cameron left. So how did it kind of come out for you? It was all quite a quick process because we were needing the 20s head coach.
Yeah, it was quite quick. I come back from working in Asia last summer, and I got in contact with Ricky again just to see how things were, just to catch up. Mm-hmm. And I was originally asked to come in and do opposition analysis. So before we spoke about the 20s gig, I was looking at the opposition for the first team. Right. And then Colin got the job at Airdrie in October, and that's when myself and Ricky had the chat to come in and take over as 20s manager.
Okay, so when you came over, was it a different kind of circumstance for you because you're going from youth level to maybe under 20s where it starts becoming more like the men's game?
Yeah, again, I've coached U7s all the way up to U15s, mm-hmm. But doing the A licence, that really prepared me for coaching adults. And ever since I passed that in 2018, that was a goal of mine to coach at the very least a U20s sort of stage. So when Ricky asked me, that was a no-brainer for me. I was really excited to get involved and come in and start coaching the boys.
So you both kind of mentioned Ricky was kind of part of you coming in. Was he a big factor in why you wanted to maybe come in and join? Like, obviously, Simon, did you play with him at Aki's at some point as well? And was that a major factor for you joining, was being able to work with Ricky?
Yeah, I've known Ricky for a number of years, being a teammate as well. So I think obviously played against him a number of times as well. But I've known Ricky for a while, and and when I spoke to him regarding the opportunity, he speaks very, very well, and he sold it as a great opportunity, and that's exactly what it is. I don't think too many coaches are, even in the professional game, that that you're in coaching every day and on a full-time basis. We're in every day of the week, and it feels really, really good, really professional, and like I said, obviously Ricky was a big part of that. For me, it was a no-brainer when I spoke to him in January about coming in.
Is that the same as you, Chris? Do you kind of echo what Simon said there? Like, Ricky was a big part coming in?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, when you speak to Ricky about football, you get that buzz straight away. And I wouldn't call him a salesman, but he sold it to me really well. And again, he gave me that opportunity to come in and coach at a level that I really wanted to coach at. So, yeah, again, it was all down to Ricky, and I'm glad he brought us in.
Well, we'll go into both your teams now. So, Simon, you're head coach of the 23s, who this year have started playing in the South of Scotland League. So, what was that like for you, maybe from the start? Because this was probably your first time as a manager in a kind of, we talked about adult football there. It's kind of like adult football again. So, you're like,
yeah.
You're a manager. That was your first time. So, how's it been for you? And was it a good step? Is it a good place for you to start with?
Yeah, for me, it's a great experience. It's like you said, although the boys are under 23s, they're playing in an adult league. You're playing against men, so it's a good test for them. It was a good test for myself, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. Clocked up a lot of miles, right enough. I wasn't aware of the amount of travelling that they'd be doing. Prior to that, I think Ricky let that one slide, right enough. But no, I think. from where the 23s were from, last year's academy to this year in the league that they're playing, I think it's night and day, and I think it's a better environment for them to be in, to go and test themselves in, and like I said, for them, it's they're testing themselves against some seasoned pros as well that have been there and done it, and against men. Like I said, it's a win-win for them and for myself. Like I said, I've enjoyed it, so it's been good.
How's your season been? Just with the guys, how did it start? Because obviously with the guys coming over a wee bit later, you had to make a wee bit of a makeshift team at the start of the season. But the guys progressed well, and from January's went on a really good run. You must be proud of them.
Yeah, I think you summed it up there. I think it's the league had sort of started just obviously before the boys had come over. So between myself and Ricky and the team, we were trying to get players together, and even some of the 19s come in and done a really good job as well. So, but when the boys come over in September, there wasn't any pre-season, there wasn't any friendly games before the season started. They were right into it. So, if I can remember correctly, I think they were in on a Monday, Tuesday, or something like that, and then I think we had a game on Saturday. So they were right into the firing line. So fair play to them. As you would expect, it was a little bit more difficult to start off with. The rest of the teams have been in for a while, and obviously had a good pre-season behind them and played a few games. And the boys turn up, meet each other for the first day on a Monday or Tuesday, and then have a day or two training. Then they're playing their first competitive game together on a Saturday. So it was a tricky start, obviously, for the boys and for the team. But like you said, fair play to them. They keep on working hard. After some disappointing results, they kept working hard and always had a smile on their face. Always done well in training, and like you said, come the turn of January, I think we're in December. We went in 1 or 2 games in December, and up until now unbeaten. So that's just credit to the boys. Fair play to them.
See, as a young manager, do you when you go through that good run of form, do you take kind of a bit of pride into yourself, or do you just kind of look at it as the players did what I asked them to do? It was the players that kind of got us there, or do you think about yourself in a way because of you've just started?
That's a good question. I think it's a bit of both, Roy. I think as a player, as a coach, you want to win. I was like that as a player. I'll do anything to win, and I'm like that as a coach. So I've got high demands on the players, purely because I'm not asking. I don't feel that I'm asking them to do something that they're not capable of doing. That they set the standards. So I just try and make sure that they keep to those standards as much as possible and try and maintain that, whether it's a run of form or and if they do drop or they do come below it, it's myself and obviously Richie there to make sure that they reach those goals again. And but yeah, I mean, look, obviously you want to be winning football games, and but when the boys are winning football games, it's obviously certainly a lot more enjoyable to go to your work, and I'm sure it is for the players as well.
What about the 20s, Chris? You obviously came in October, like you said, and they were Colin had done a great job with the 20s over the past few years as well. What was it like coming in and having to take over a brand new team of guys who are also a new team themselves?
I came in straight away and I was just really excited to get started. It wasn't until maybe after the first week that I thought about who I was following. I mean, Colin Cameron's got a good pedigree. Again, the guys really liked him. They loved his coaching style and the way how he went about his business. So it was initially when I first came in, I was just ready to jump in and get started. Being 8 games into the season already, I knew that we had to hit the ground running a little bit. We didn't have time to do. There was no pre-season involved. They played, as I said before, the 8 games already. So it was just a matter of using the first 2 games to see what I had to play with, set my stall up and see how it went. So again, it was very challenging. I need to admit, at the very beginning, it was really challenging. Again, the players not maybe understanding my Scottish slang to begin with straight away. And again, again after I started thinking about, wow, Colin's been coaching them to begin with. Their mindset was that they really enjoyed having Colin there, and it took a couple of weeks to really get them going after that.
Did you find that once because you did go through a good spell, especially from when you came into towards the end of the season, what was the end of the season at the time? Did you find that there was a good unity coming together with the guys, and it just needed that bit of kind of, wee bit of time to get you all together, especially if you coming in? Did you find that unity kind of helped you with the results as well?
Definitely. What I started implementing straight away was targets for the team. Mm-hmm. So at the beginning of every month, I would come in with a piece of paper with information on it about our league standing, our goals for, goals against, the teams that we're going to play this month, and then we'd say, right, what's our target for this month? And I think that became, that team unity came with that. We're saying, right, guys, let's all pull together and see if we can go and hit your targets. As you said, I mean, November, December, I think we lost one game. And we won the rest. We done really, really well. And again, I think that was them accepting that the shape of the team can change as well. Yeah. They were used to playing a 4-3-3, and when I tried to change it to a 4-4-2 to begin with, and they challenged that, which they should. But I think once you make them aware and make them understand why you're doing it, I think they're more accepting to
that. One thing I wanted to ask you both was, obviously there's the academy are linked with the Braves, so the academy boys can progress to play with the first team. And maybe this year is the first time we'll have not seen as much of that, just due to the fact of the way the Braves has went this year. But how proud were you when you were able to have some of your players promoted into the first team for a few games this season? So Simon, you had a few 23 guys in there. You kind of populated a lot of the team that you took charge of when you went down to Bonneton in the Cup, and it was kind of a mixed team. Like, were you proud of your guys because you managed, they managed to get themselves there, but also you helped them to get to that kind of first team stage?
Yeah, it's all about progression, and that's obviously when the boys come over for the program. There's a lot to the program as opposed to just football, but certainly on a football point of it is, as a coach, all you want to do is try and help them improve. Certainly on the grass as well, and to see boys are consistently playing well first and foremost, but to see their level increase and to set standards and for themselves, and like you said, to be rewarded, to get involved with the first team and play certain cup games. And I think that's all you want for your boys as a coach. So I think it's a big part of the academy is progression. And like Chris had said as well with the 20s, they're looking to go up and play with the 23s, and they have done this year as well. And the same, obviously, a few of them have been involved with the first team as well, which is good. So it's all about progression, So like you said, yes, obviously delighted, to see the young lads get involved, 23s and the 20s involved with the first team.
Yeah, is that the same with you, Chris? Do you think that when they did go up to play with the first team, or with your guys went up to play the 23s and they came back to play with the 20s maybe the next week, did you see a difference in the guys, or did they come back and they were just the same guys who'd want to play for any team they could? Because I think with the players that got promoted from your team, especially, where they were the top level guys who were going to do well, and they weren't going to maybe be a bit big-headed that they went up or anything like that. So did you kind of see that from your players?
Yeah, again, when they did come back, I seen that more of a hunger and desire from them to go and get it again. But they knew it wasn't just going to be handed to them. They knew that playing at under 20s was their bread and butter. And they knew that there was a pathway there as well. So again, initially, if Simon had a couple of players going up to the first team, then some of my players that were doing well, I would more than happily have a conversation with Simon near enough on a weekly basis to move them up to the 23s first of all. So they knew there were steps in place first of all. They couldn't just jump up to the first team. Although the last couple of weeks before we finished up, we had 2 or 3 go up and do really, really well. And it was good to see, because they're playing against the under 20s guys their own age. So again, it's different for when Simon's team's playing in an adult league. It's good to see how they come up against that. It's different sort of challenges in their way and barriers they're from to overcome. So they have to play a little bit differently sometimes. And the tempo is generally a little bit higher also.
Did you find that, maybe both of you, did you find that it helped your team when they came back to you? Like, so for instance, if any 23 side went up to play with the first team, did you feel like when they came back, like Chris had said, they had that hunger and desire, so your team kind of benefited from that as well?
Yeah, and like you said, they're there on merit. Whether it's an under-20s playing up with the 23s or involved with the first team or 23, they get involved in merit. So it's, like you said, when we did go back to, like Chris had mentioned, the bread and butter of the league or whatever it was, you did find that they would have a spring in a step naturally in training and obviously want to go and push on again, because it was a reward that, as any player that you're looking to get, you want more of. You like the taste of it. So it was a positive behaviour from them in training, and actually push the rest of the boys in my group, which always helps. Just, well, do you know what, you didn't get in this time, but you're not far from it. Can you get involved? Can you push yourself on to be involved in the next squad?
See, when you have the players in, and obviously they speak French, so the guys are French, they come over. So Chris, you can maybe answer this one first. The guys are coming over. Is it hard to get the kind of camaraderie, kind of dressing room kind of vibe with them, or does it become really straightforward and easier because they're doing their English lessons, but they're also being with you, like Simon said, like a professional club, and it's nearly every day? Do you kind of feel that you don't have any language barrier by the end of it?
I think, again, when I first came in, I found it pretty difficult to actually build any rapport with any of the players. And again, it took me a wee while, but I think even just the handshakes, the wee fist bumps, the wee cuddle every now and then, a wee nutmeg every now and then, they start seeing your behaviour and seeing how you are as a coach, and they start relaxing and they start laughing, and then you start building a rapport that way. And then what you'll find is they start feeling more comfortable speaking a little bit of English with you. And again, obviously, I'll need to speak a lot more clearer with my communication also. But no, even the daft wee things, everything, just building up that rapport with them, and again, try to have that wee bit of fun and laugh with them.
Did you find, Si, because obviously you mentioned there about your long journeys in the league going away, did you find the guys were able to have a laugh with you and they kind of didn't take too long for them to kind of pick up your kind of mannerisms and things like that, because there obviously is a language barrier at the start? Did you find that it kind of came a bit quite quickly and all the guys were good to have around you as well?
Yeah, I think so. I think, well, first and foremost, the majority of the boys' English were very good coming over, which is good, which obviously made things a little bit more easier. Or there was a good few anyway that spoke pretty good English that would translate to the rest of the boys. So that always helps. But like Chris said, it's always going to take time. Don't forget, it's a new group of lads that are meeting each other for the first time as well. So as much as they're getting used to the coaches and the maybe style of play, they're getting used to each other and the teammates. So that adds to it as well. So, but like Chris said, you've got to try and make training fun, or certain aspects of it as well, fun and enjoyable, and get, crack a few jokes with them, and really get them out, bring them out of their shells. And like you said, just, well, in a football environment, it's, it doesn't take long to get that from players anyway. Well,
So it's as well as the academy, you also do help out with Ricky and Richie at the Braves as well. So Chris, you kind of touched on the did a wee bit of kind of opposition analysis, things like that. Was that the main thing that you worked on? Obviously, you came in when Colin left and you helped out for a game when we were away to Civil and things like that. Was it good for you to come in and work with Ricky at the time and now Richie as well, and just different parts of the Braves?
It's coming in, working every day with the guys has been fantastic. The likes of Si, Richie, and obviously the gaffer. I've learned so much from the guys in a short space of time. Even coming in, just doing the video analysis, the opposition analysis for the first team was excellent. It was good to go and watch the teams in the league. I didn't really know. I didn't have a lot of experience with the Lowland League. I didn't really know much about it. So it was good to go and watch the teams, how they set up, the players that they've got. And if I'm honest with you, I'm actually surprised at the level. The level's really good in the Lowland League. There's some really good football teams. And again, there's some good, decent styles out there as well.
Yeah, the same with you, Si, because you helped out Ricky a lot when Colin had left, and you came in and you helped out with the coaching side, and You took a couple of the games that were the mixed teams as well in the cup. Was that maybe, I'd add on to being a young manager, was that also a good experience for you to come in and working with the first team?
Yeah, it was an opportunity that like you mentioned, that was there. Obviously, Colin had got the opportunity to go to Airdrie, which he took. So Ricky was obviously basically waiting on Sal coming in, and there was a few weeks where he needed a hand, and he asked if I wanted to do that, and I said of course I would. So yeah, like I said, I enjoyed that as well. I know a few of the boys anyway in the first team. And it's a fairly young team as well, isn't it? So, but no, I enjoyed it, I must admit.
What's your thoughts on the Braves as a team? Like, obviously, Simon, you were here last year, so you've seen what the team was as Edusport, and you were kind of part of the rebranding, if you will, because you were here at the time. What's your kind of thoughts on how it's became quite a successful kind of team this year, and they've done really well in the league? So, like, Chris, do you want to jump in first? What's your kind of thoughts on the Braves?
But again, after I went to watch some players or games for Ricky, if I knew the guys were playing at home, I'd always try and make it down to at least watch the second half. Anytime I've watched them again, anytime I went to watch them, if I'm being 100% honest, I never knew what I was going to get. You would turn up and they would get beat off a team that are maybe two or three places in the league below them, but then they would play a team maybe 4 or 5 places above them and beat them 7-1 at home. You just honestly, you just didn't know what you were going to get, but they had that in them. That's the thing. Every game that the Braves turn up, you think they can win this game. It's not out with their reach to go and win it. Again, with the management, it's there as well. I mean, Ricky, for me, is absolutely fantastic, and Sal's got a lot of experience behind him also. And again, the players are good. They're good individual players, and they do well as a team.
What's your thoughts on the kind of background of it? So when we had to rebrand from Edusport last year into Caledonian Braves this year, and things that Chris is doing behind the scenes, what's your kind of thoughts on that, Chris?
It's fantastic. I mean, with everything coming together for Caledonian Braves, to branch away from the Edusport brand, if you will, it makes it this brand new club, Caledonian Braves, that the fans have picked as well. So it became very exciting very quickly. And again, with everything else that Chris has brought together with all the rugby, the dance, everything that through Edusport that filters into Caledonian Braves, it's proven it's exciting times at the club.
What about you, Si? Because you were here last year, so like I said earlier, you've seen the kind of progression and the transition this year. Was it quite impressive for you watching that, going from a mixture in a Lowland League team to being this the brand new team in Scottish football and being fairly successful as well this year?
Yeah, Chris and Ricky worked really hard, to do that. They've come a long way in a short space of time. And like Chris had mentioned, Caledonian Braves now, the newest team, and they're doing really well in the league as well. I think when I first joined, they were ground sharing at Annan, wasn't it? So in that short space of time, they've got their own facility over at Bothwell Hall, and the stadium's up there now, and they've got the run of the place, and it looks it seems like they've come a long way in a short space of a short period of time, and it's great to see, and that's credit to Chris Ewan and obviously Ricky.
Yeah, it kind of brings us into Scottish football as a whole, and obviously with the COVID-19 pandemic that's going on at the moment, like we kind of mentioned at the start, it was announced, as we're recording this today, it was announced that it looks like there'll be no football until at least after the 10th of June. What do you think is going to happen, guys? What's your opinions on it? Obviously, the teams in the leagues outside of the Premiership are going to be voting to see if the points per game system's going to work and if teams are going to be promoted. But what's your thoughts on it, Si? Do you want to give us your thoughts first?
I think it's a difficult one, isn't it? I think there's teams in positions where they're clear of the top of the table by a good few points that you can maybe say, well, there's only a few games left. You can maybe justify giving it to them, but I'm sure the team that's in second place in whatever league has said, well, we've got them and a game in hand and so on. So to draw the line under the current season is going to be difficult for all clubs involved, whether challenging for the top or challenging, or trying to stay up in the league. So it's a difficult one. I don't think there is a right or wrong at the moment. I think whatever happens, whatever the leagues decide or the clubs vote, there will be parties disappointed with the result of that. Unfortunately, that's where we're at though. So I've not actually answered your question, but I think it's a difficult one. I really do. And like you mentioned there, if it's the 10th of June, it doesn't look like we're going to finish the remainder of the season unless they're going to be starting the season later for next year's campaign. So it's a tricky one.
Do you think teams will kind of maybe in the right to take a kind of, when it comes to the vote, maybe take a selfish route down it because they're only thinking about the benefit of their club? Teams like Partick Thistle might have to get relegated.
Yeah.
But there's also, like you said, there's chance they could stay up. Do you think they're in the well in the right to take a kind of selfish, well, we don't want that to happen to us, why can't we find something that benefits everyone?
Yeah, you would do, of course you would, and that's where the tricky. That's where it's going to be tricky to try and find a system where it's going to benefit all teams, especially teams that are in the bottom couple of teams that there's a possibility of going down, and the teams that if you're able to win the league. So I think it's going to be very, very difficult to come up with a solution that's where every team's going to be happy.
Yeah, Chris, what's your thoughts on it? But if you think about if it happened, obviously the 20s league doesn't look like it's going to go ahead anymore just because of the way the league is, and they're going to be focusing on the main professional leagues. But see, if you look at your team, obviously your team were doing really well and you were pushing on, you could have finished high on the table. Would you be disappointed if the season was finished and you couldn't finish that wee bit higher than you wanted to?
You always want to play your games. I went 9 games left and we were 5th in the league. When I first came in, one of our targets was where do we want to finish? I think we were third bottom at the time. We said it would be a really good achievement if we get into the top 5. So we're getting to the top 5. There's 9 games to go, and the boys have got a good bit of momentum behind them. So I would think a top 3 finish wouldn't be out with our reach. So yeah, again disappointed, but again you need to think of the health and safety of everybody first and foremost. Never mind the football. But again, if we could keep playing the games after the 10th of June, it would be fantastic. I'd love every single league, in my own opinion, has to finish. You can't just say, right, we'll just go with the average amount of points and we'll give you it and then finish the season then. And I don't think that makes sense at all. I mean, if you look at teams like Inverness or second in the Championship, I mean, they're not going to be able to do the games. They're not going to be able to do the playoff games at all. It'll just be there's money for coming in second place. You'll be in the Championship next year regardless of what happens. So again, I don't think it's very fair, if I'm being honest.
You mentioned the fact about the Lowland League and how it's impressed you, and from what it looks like they're going to scrap the playoff from League 2 from the Highland and Lowland League team for this year. Would that be kind of disappointing for you, seeing the way maybe Kelty's done really well and Broda's done really well in their respective leagues, just to kind of scrap that because it's kind of lower down the pecking order, if you think?
Definitely, and I mean, you look at Bonnyrigg as well, they'll be really disappointed because they've got a game in hand, and again, they're fantastic. They're a great team. They're a good team to watch, very powerful, very direct. 2 guys up front are fantastic together. Again, they've got a real chance. I mean, they've still to play Kelty again, and again, they've got their game in hand. That could take them to level points. So, again, they must be sitting going, no, we want to play these games also.
We don't envy anyone who has to make any of these decisions, but obviously, unprecedented times, we all just kind of, like as you said, Chris, football kind of comes second just now. You need to kind of think about everyone's health. But we'll move on to the questions that we've been asking everyone, this kind of isolation, because since we're talking about the pandemic, the kind of isolation style questions, so I'm interested to see what you kind of came up with. So if you had to pick 2 players or managers as your coaches, famous guys, past or present, that you'd have to isolate in the same house with, because who would you want to be with? Who would you want to have a chat with, or maybe just to hang about with? So Chris, you go first. Who's your 2?
My first, it was difficult because, again, when I grew up, the Brazilian Ronaldo and Zinedine Zidane were my 2 favourites. 2 guys who you watched in TV, they would do something, so you went out, grab the ball, and you would out and try and replicate it. But I'd have to say, just for complete Yeah, I'd have to say Maradona.
Okay.
Just because he's wild, and I bet he's got a good few stories. And Alex Ferguson, because I think he'd settle him down a wee bit if we go too far.
That's the first time someone said Alex Ferguson. I expected him to come out a bit more, but that's a good kind of couple, because you get craziness with Maradona, and you've got the kind of the proper good stories and that from Alex Ferguson. So that's a good pick. Si, who's yours? Anyone you played with, or is it?
Yeah, I've gone closer to home. I don't know any celebrities, so I'm not going to pick Chris Divers. I've gone with Martin Scott, Jimmy, aka Jimmy Demo. Used to play for Ross County and Hibs.
Right.
Absolute limbo. I'm talking about.
Is that just keep going?
Always winding up the gaffers. You know, he's. I spent a bit of time with him at Livingston, and that was more than enough. He's crazy. But no, he's a great guy and a really good player as well. So definitely Martin Scott, aka Jimmy Dimmer. And the other one would be Kyle Wilkie, who I still keep in contact with now.
All right.
I played with him. He was a young lad at Hamilton. Really nice guy, but he's daft as brushes.
Right.
You know, some of the stuff that he comes up with, and you know, he would keep me entertained. So I could just watch them two go at it all day long.
God, the night and day with both your choices.
No, I'm quite disappointed in size, to be honest.
Well, you don't know them. Is it because I didn't pick you drivers? Yeah?
Wait, well, I can get to know them.
I'm surprised no one's picked Sal. I mean,
you were third. You were third pick, Chris.
Is that third?
Yeah, third pick.
Oh, okay. God, I don't even think of you, mate. You don't come close to Maradona, Ferguson.
So we'll move on to the next question. What were you thinking about the previous game? Like one you could rewatch over and over again. For instance, it could be one you've played in, or it could just be any you've watched, any you remember when you were growing up, international, and that club level. What he's going for, Chris? You go with your first one.
My first one, I'm going to probably get rinsed for this, but it have to be Liverpool AC Milan Champions League final, the 3-3 game.
I've had that a few times.
Just if I'm broad, just for total shock value. I can remember watching it and thinking this game's finished after 10 minutes.
It's good because that's one of the games that we were saying the previous ones. It's going to keep you on the edge of the seat, even if you've watched it before. You know what's going to happen, but it's still excitement for the full 90 minutes. It's not a game that has a goal after 5 minutes and then the team sit behind, and they kind of hold out for that. So, I mean, it's quite an obvious one to kind of go for, but it's definitely a good one. Did you have another one?
That was a great one, Chris. I remember watching that as well. And from a neutral point of view, obviously you wanted Liverpool to win, and watching it was fantastic.
Yeah.
But see, even the other day, Sky had some games going on. Obviously, because there's nothing going on at this moment in time, and it showed you the game. And again, obviously, Liverpool come back in it next in extra time. I don't know if you can remember Shevchenko's miss. I feel like it was like a couple of minutes to go, and he had the full goal to aim for, and Dudek managed to save it. It was unbelievable.
Oh, he was amazing that night.
It was incredible. You're saying, going again, when you knew that, when he missed that, you knew that this has to be Liverpool's.
Yeah.
When he missed that was it.
What about you, Si? What are you going for? What's your game?
I'm going for one of my first games that I remember was I'm going to show my age here now. The '90 World Cup.
Okay, right.
Can you remember? Can you guess the game?
Slightly before my time.
Germany, England.
Germany, England. Okay, right.
Yeah. Germany won on penalties. That's when Waddle and Stuart Pearce missed on penalties. Okay. So that was, obviously I would have been around about 8, but I remember sitting down watching that with my dad, and we're seeing the likes of Paul Gascoigne and Gary Lineker and Waddle himself as well, playing against the strong German side. It was a really good game, and obviously England were unfortunate to win it. I think both teams hit the post in extra time as well, and Gaza had a glorious chance right at the end, So I would say that's one of the games that sticks in my head that I can remember fondly.
You've obviously got some German roots in you. Was it kind of when you were young? Did you always go for England, or did you have that wee bit of Germany in you?
When England played Germany, I wanted England to win, but I always wanted Germany to do well. I mean, obviously there was massive rivalry between the two, but when I wanted both of them to do well. So when they were playing each other in the semi-final, it was a win-win for me.
Enough.
No way. Such a cop-out answer. That's like saying you're a Celtic Rangers fan.
No, it's nothing like it. No. But no, so that was a game. Obviously, when Gazza was crying as well, he got booked. He won't miss the final if they made it. So yeah,
it's hard to know. Come out your head. It was a good game as well to watch. It's a bit before my time, but I remember seeing bits of it. But we'll go to the non kind of footballing questions. What's your TV show? Si, you go first. What's your TV show you binge? You can watch constantly.
Well, I've just watched off Netflix Godless.
Okay.
Which was surprisingly really good. About sort of cowboys, and it was a mini series as well. So Jeff Daniels and a few other people were in that. That was pretty decent. So I would recommend that one, and a go-to, which I would actually. I'm saying that I would need more time, but you need to be on your own. But Game of Thrones, I would actually go as far as to watch that again, no problem.
Okay, cool. Yeah. What were you, Divers?
Oh, it has to be Tiger King, man. Have you seen that yet? Oh,
I've not even watched it yet.
No.
Si, have you seen it yet?
No.
Oh, mate, get involved. It's unbelievable. I'm not joking.
I've seen it. It's on Netflix, isn't it?
Oh, the first episode's a bit slow, but see, after that, it just goes from one extreme to the next. I'm not joking. I'll put it on about 10 o'clock at night, and I think I stayed up to about 4 and watched the full thing. You can't stop watching it. It's this. I don't want to waste it for you.
It's not factual, though, is it?
Yeah.
Aye, it's a documentary.
Oh, right, okay. But it's
all
in the same story, yeah?
Yeah, it's about people in America that own their own private zoos, and they've got tigers and stuff running about. But again, then it just unravels into this. It's hard. It's hard to actually explain it. You have to watch it. I'm not honestly. Seeing you watch it, you turn around and go, "Chris, you actually made sense."
What I'll do is I'll say to the missus then, Chris, advise us to watch this one.
Watch it. I'm not joking. Watch it and then text me. It's bonkers.
I might need to have a look at it myself.
Switch.
What is cooking? These cooks, we spoke to the gaffer. He fancies himself as a good cook. What about yourselves? Do you like cooking? What's your isolation kind of meal that you'd have to make because you can't go to the shops that often anymore?
Well, I think I'm a decent cook. Yeah, I'm not shy of being in the kitchen. I'd rather not be right enough. I'd rather the missus do it. But look, to be fair, pasta dishes, you can't go wrong with pasta dishes. We've got enough pasta, like I'm sure everyone else has. So I prefer a creamy pasta. So that with maybe some onions, peppers, chuck in a bit of chicken and chorizo to liven it up, and I'm happy with that. Snack-wise, which I never, but pot noodles is my go-to snack at the moment.
Wow.
I don't believe it or not. Can't remember last time I had one until before this. So I told the missus to stop getting them because I keep on eating them. So
really,
but yeah, pot noodles for snack.
What are you going for? What's your flavour?
Chicken and mushroom or beef and tomato. I prefer chicken and mushroom, I think.
Right. Okay. Cool. I wasn't expecting you to say pot noodle, mate. Don't know why. I didn't expect that.
That was a snack. That's not for dinner or anything.
Oh, right. Cool. Right. That's that's before you could cook. That was your dinners.
That was it. Yeah.
Aye. What were you, Divers? What's your food? Ordering Domino's.
Domino's.
Are they still delivering?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The wee guy just leaves you at your door, chaps your door, and runs away. And I'm not even joking.
What you used to do before all of this, anyway.
I swear to God, I opened the door up and I was like, "What the hell happened there?" And I looked in, there was a pizza. I was like, "All right, take it, the guys came."
So you're not cooking, mate?
I'm rancid, absolutely rancid at cooking.
Left it up in China?
I was out every day in China having. Aye, every day. I found this this international sort of like bar, and they done like international food every single day. I was in there. It wasn't McDonald's or anything like that.
I
was like some days.
Oh, honestly, it was crazy. But pasta, you can't go wrong with pasta.
That's the same with me. I'd go with that all the time.
Right, I have to. Not had a pot noodle in ages now. I'm actually thinking about one.
See,
you ever had the Bombay Bad Boy?
Oh, that's the best one. Bombay Bad Boy. That's it.
Well, there you go.
See if you want to swear out a call, that's where you go straight away.
Oh, yep. I'm craving a pot noodle now.
Yeah, finally, Chris, you mentioned Domino's.
Yeah.
A couple of days ago, chap at the door, guy turns up with probably about 10 to 12 Domino's pizzas in his hand. Oh. This was probably about 1 o'clock. I'm like, didn't order. He said, number 2? I said, yeah. He said, no. I said, that's not for me. I didn't order. So he went away. I'm thinking, someone's at it. Someone's just phoned him up and thinking. 2 days later, different guy comes up again, 10 pizzas, Domino's pizzas. I'm like, are you winding me up? He said, no, I said, no. So I spoke to Domino's, a local one. I said, look, by the way, keep on coming. What's this? Oh, made a mistake. It was, they're supposed to be going to the hospital. So I think the manager, the area manager, whoever it was, on-site manager, had been sending them to the hospitals, but the delivery drivers must have put in the wrong postcode for it. But so that was good that they were sending them up to hospitals.
I thought you were going to say Bryn. I thought Bryn was maybe
yeah. It wouldn't surprise me. But that way the first thing you're thinking, someone's at it there, 10, 12 pizzas. But no, that's good that they were going up to the hospital. I should have grabbed them.
Steal them then.
I was going to say, should have at least took a wee slice.
Right, guys, we'll finish up a bit, and we'll just we'll go to both of you and get you to sum up your year, or for you, Chris, it's not been a full year, but a couple of months. But you can sum up your kind of time at Edusport and the Braves. So, Simon, has it been a successful year for you? Have you maybe learned a lot as a young manager, and do you feel you've progressed and it's been a good place to be?
Yes, 100%. I thoroughly enjoyed it so far. It's I'm looking forward to getting back as well, whenever that is. Hopefully with the set of boys that we've got at the moment. If not, it'll be the new batch that will come in. But no, I think, for me, it's been successful. I think I've learned a lot about myself, as a person within it, as a coach as well, but a lot about the boys as well, and certain situations. And so, yeah, for me, it's been a great experience, and I'm missing it tremendously.
How would you sum up your year?
Yeah, I would say it's very successful. I think on and off the park, just working with the likes of Sai, Richie, and obviously the gaffer, and even yourself and Ennis, and just getting to know everybody. The people at the club are fantastic. Chris, again, the boys, I'm missing coaching my boys every day. And again, I just can't wait to get back on the pitch and get in about it again. Yeah,
so as you said, guys, it's been really good year and a successful year. I think it just shows a kind of good bond and unity we've all got kind of working together. So,
Roy, are you crying? Is that a tear or two? I see you. Take a minute.
So long since I've seen you.
Take a minute.
Roy Misty's been up on that scaffolding in the freezing cold Friday nights, don't you, Roy?
I hope that's fallen down. But it's been good, guys, and it's good chanty, and hopefully everyone kind of gets to know you guys a wee bit. And as I say, it's been a good, successful year, and hopefully we kind of continue next year and keep going, and hopefully football's back quicker than we want.
Yeah. No, thanks a lot, Roy, and keep up the good work. You're doing a tremendous job, pal. Okay, so pleasure.
I didn't pay Simon to say that, but it's been good. So
yes, you did. I'll speak to you after.
Thanks, Roy. Appreciate it.
See you later, drivers. Take care, bud. See you later, Roy.
Cheers,
guys. All the best. Cheers, guys.
See you later.